One more thing. Price of the brick going up.
Spartans! What is your profession?
Why you looking so hard? You worried about the wrong play, man. Go look in the mirror. Dust. You on my page before you brush your teeth. You stuck on my ground while I'm in the streets. You worrying about my bag, worrying about my wins. You ain't worrying about your pockets looking paper thin. Look at you, man, musty, can't be trusted. Hating on my shine cause your whole life busted. You could be doing so much if you looked at you, but you rather look at me. That's the bum in you. You complaining about the work that I got in the vault, but you ain't willing to undo it. That's your own damn fault. I'm not sorry, I don't care, I don't feel no pity. You a clown in the suburbs, I'm the man of the city. You looking through my window with a greedy eye, instead of in the mirror asking who am I? You a hater, you a watch, you a non-starter. While I'm climbing up the charts, yeah, I'm going harder. Stop looking through my window. Go look inside your mirror. You worry about my downfall, that's why your vision ain't clear. You're dusty. Stop looking through my window. Go look inside your mirror. You could be winning too, bro, winning too, but you rather be a failure. I don't feel you, I don't see you, I don't hear you. You just a gnat in my ear, I just brush you off. You just mad cause I'm the boss and you looking soft. You ain't willing to do the work that I've done. I was up at 4 a.m., you was having fun. I was 72 hours fasting, getting my mind right. You was on the timeline, starting up a new fight, but the fight ain't with me. Man, the fight is with yourself. You could have the same damn drive, you could have the wealth, but you rather be a critic, you rather be a troll. While I'm knocking down goals at the Super Bowl, I don't feel no pity, I don't feel remorse that you chose to stay with you while I'm a damn horse. This a race and you ain't even at the starting line. Too busy drawing pictures on my finish line. Stop looking through my window. Go look inside your mirror. You worried about my downfall, that's why your vision ain't clear. Stop looking through my window. Go look inside your mirror. You could be winning too, bro, winning too, but you rather be a failure. Let's get it. My focus is on growth, my focus is on winning. My focus is on the next chapter, just beginning. I'm too busy, man, my calendar is packed. I'm too busy building that, I'm too busy building stack. I'm coaching up the team, I'm on the max, I'm on the string. I'm building in the world, I'm living out the dream. And you are not a factor, you are not a threat. You were just a bad investment, you were bad. I'm not sorry for you, I'm not sorry for the facts that I'm out here running up the score to the max. I don't see you, you are invisible to me, cause I'm everything you're jealous of, scared of me. Real talk, if you took a little time and focused on your own success instead of on my damn downfall, you wouldn't be so dusty. Ha. Maybe you should try it if you wanna win, but you won't. Get a life, man. Stop watching mine. Go get some money.
What's up? What's up? What's up? How is everyone doing tonight? Hopefully you are doing absolutely fantastic. Give me a second here. I have to check on something real quick. Okay, cool. I had to make sure I deleted my access keys from over the weekend because you know I have a habit to share those out. What in the world is this? How is everyone doing tonight? Hopefully you are all doing well. Hopefully you're having an amazing, amazing week. We have a show planned out for you tonight. We're going to be talking about the OBS plugin. I actually finished it. It was crazy. And I had my guy, Junior, and the beloved brother Rod Brown, they both installed it. And they installed it on Windows because Rod Brown, he has Windows, Junior has Windows, and I want to see if it works. So they installed it and it actually installed without issue. However, there were two requests. So if we're gonna try to get to that tonight, but I'm gonna be showing you how much it cost me to get this plugin done, because after Thursday I was like, why is this not working? I went crazy, and I'm gonna give you how much it cost, how I could have made it cost less. I'm gonna show you all my prompts, all of that. We're going to review how I got it to work on Windows. I haven't used Windows in a very, very long time, so we're gonna be looking at that. And and then I'm going to see if I can get those 2 additional enhancements done as well. That is our game plan for tonight. So buckle up, lock in, and let's go. Let's take care of a little bit of housekeeping really, really quick. First and foremost, everyone who is tuning in, welcome. Thank you so much to all the subscribers, to those who aren't even subscribed yet, but you're watching, those who are watching on replay, every last one of you, whether you've been here for a very, very long time or you are brand new. I just got to let you know that I thank you so much for being here, for allowing me to add value into your lives, and that I truly appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
And I got to give a big shout out to all of my tech barbarians, those who have been with me for a very, very long time, those who are brand new, those that I work with one-on-one, those that I interact with in the chat, whoever you are. I just got to let you know that I see how hard you're working. I see how hard you're learning, and I see all your effort. And that's why I know that we are the very, very best.
We the best.
And shout out to my tech mercenaries, the YouTube channel members who allow this channel to be audio dubbed in a multitude of languages to get across the entire world. There are people from India who reach out to me. There are people from Tokyo who've reached out to me. There are people from Russia, from Ukraine, from Pakistan, from all over the globe. And that is because of you make me have the ability to be here and share with everyone. And we're just spreading this tech knowledge. So I just want to tell you that. Thank you so much. And let's go out there and continue to get it.
Let's get it.
Quick announcements. Tomorrow we have the Bug Bite. The Bug Bite, yes. We're going to be reviewing Suno. Suno has just reached an agreement with Warner Music Group. A few weeks ago, it was Udio with the Universal Music Group, and then I think they were followed up by Warner reaching a deal with Udio. It was just a matter of time before Suno reached their deal, and they have just reached a deal. We're going to break down what that means to the AI music world. Is it the end? Is it the end? We're going to find out tomorrow on our next episode of The Bug Bite. Looking forward to seeing you there. And Saturday, we do not have anything planned on Saturday. So Saturday is off weekend. So there's no Vibe Code and Chill. We do have our Scrum Night coming up on Sunday, and we do have before Scrum Night, we do have the Sunday afternoon stream. We're going to be continuing to work on our speech coaching app that helps us reduce the ums and the ahs and all that. We started plugging it up last week. We made a lot of progress. I'm hoping we can get it to MVP status this coming Sunday so that we can start the process of getting it deployed to the app stores, because that is a process in itself. Luckily, we do not back down from challenges because last year we were able to get our time cost calculator into both app stores. So we know the process. We got to go through it again, register the apps, all that good stuff, and start getting it in there so we can get into testing phase. And we have to also find out, okay, how can we limit it so that people can't just run up our API keys and stuff like that. We need to see how we're going to organize our API keys so that it's a lot of logistics when it comes around, what we're gonna use AI to figure out our pricing plan. So that's what we have coming up for this Sunday and probably the following Sunday, so that we can get to a good point to start deploying our next mobile app. You know how we roll. We don't miss over here. We don't miss. And so that's what we have upcoming for the next couple of days for this weekend. It's going to be an amazing, amazing time. All right. Is that everything? That's everything. Do me a favor, like, share, subscribe, check out techwithtruff.dev because that is where we have so much information. Did you check out yesterday's premiere of AI Agent Engineer? Did you check that out? Because that right there, that is one of the tech jobs of the future. You can keep going for, web development, software development, Java development, the foundation, helpful. But the future of tech, AI is where it's at. So better early than late. And honestly, one of the courses that I found, we actually started taking it at the beginning of this year. And I do plan on bringing it back probably on Thursday nights to go ahead and finish that course out. But we got a good portion of the way. We learned if I didn't start off with that course, I would have been struggle coding, not vibe coding. I would have been struggle coding the past few months. All right. So we're going to bring that course back because I think that one was the most important of everything that we're doing. DevOps is still very important. Of course, we've done a lot of DevOps, like working with Supabase and all that good stuff. Now that we have AI at our fingertips, we are unstoppable. All right. I don't even know the last time I used Devin because now that I have Kilo and I have, and that I have Gemini, so much good stuff is happening. I am excited. Right. I'll tell you this. I was planning not to have an icebreaker, right? But then as I was walking into the studio, something came over me that I just had to share this message. So give me a second to just prop up a title for this, right? And we're gonna have a little icebreaker. Let's go with I don't know how long that's going to be, but let me check the chat first and then, I know what I'll do. I know what I'm going to do. Give me a sec. Whatever. Who cares? We'll figure it out. But let me check the chat first and then we shall jump into this little icebreaker. I'm going to keep it quick because I don't want to be here forever and we have a lot of work to do tonight. So let me check the chat and then we're going to get to it. All right. So I don't have this up on OBS yet because Junior is always an early bird. So and I truly appreciate him for that.
I appreciate you.
So Junior says, "What's up? What's up? What's up, family? What's good with you, Junior? Hopefully everything is going absolutely fantastic with you. Let me know if let me take a look at let me monitor this real quick. Okay, it's not too bad. Just wanted to make sure it's not the sound effects aren't too loud because you know how people be coming at me like, oh my god, so much sound effects. I just want the information. I'm like, well, if you just want the information, why don't you take to this person's room where they don't have any sound? All right. I know I get a little petty at times, but I apologize. I am a work in progress. All right. Rod Brown and Junior would attest to this when I say that God is certainly not done with me yet. He's probably barely gotten started. It's true. While Junior and Rod Brown might be at like a good 50 to 75%, I'm probably at like a 0.075%. You know, it is what it is.
Bruh.
But he ain't gave up on me yet. All right. He ain't gave up on me yet. So you know it is. You know how it is. All right. All right. But Junior also said that I don't know who the person is that Joe Rogan interviewer or that he interviewed. And he said that the sound effects are fine. Thank you so much for that. So Jensen Huang is the CEO of NVIDIA. One of my besties, although he doesn't know that. It's kind of like a one-way direction bestie. Like he is one of my besties, but he has no idea who I am. Although if he was to check like the investor list, like probably like all the way at the very last at the bottom, you'd see my name. Nonetheless, he is one of my besties, although it's not reciprocal, but it's okay. I'm okay with that. But he had an interview on Joe Rogan yesterday or maybe the day before. I think it was yes. What day is today? Today is the 4th. So I think maybe it was 2 days ago. And I started watching it today. I got like halfway through because it's about a 2-hour interview. But he dropped some gems and some things that that I've been saying on this channel. So I wanted to review that video. However, I'm going to show you how I decided not to quote unquote review that video on the stream, but we're going to talk about it. We are going to talk about it. And I have the transcript, so I'll probably be reading some of the transcript, but I'm going to show you how I came to that conclusion because I had my legal assistant help me out with making the right decision on that, right? And my legal assistant is more on the conservative side of things, so it's like don't do what you're thinking about doing. So I'm more of a let's just go out there and do it. And he was like, you probably don't want to do that. So that's a new idea. A new idea. Legal AI. I'm sure that exists, but I can put a spin on it. I'm sorry. You see how I get. You see how I get. Anyways, let me jump real quick into this little icebreaker real quick. And then I'm gonna check the chat again. We're gonna get to work. All that good stuff, right? So kind of long, but it is what it is. So icebreaker for tonight. My icebreaker. My time is the most, yes, the most important thing to me. And it should be to you too. It's not my time should be the most important thing to you. Your time should be the most important thing to you. Why do I say that? Because people, they will do everything in their power to use up your time to make you unproductive, inefficient, all that good stuff. That's why I love my time cost calculator app. Inspired by the one, the only Mr. Anton Daniels. And inspired, maybe I saw this video like 4 years ago where he was talking about the value of your time. The value of your time. And he broke down the formula where you take the total amount of money that you make in a year and you divide that by the total amount of hours in a year, and that gives you the value of 1 hour of your time. And I use a time cost calculator to break it down to the value, to break it down to a second, to a minute, to a second, so you can easily see. And now we're adding more features to it, so you can like track. Oh, if I spend this much time doing this, how much is worth? And I got a lot of pushback when I first created the first iteration. It was just a web. Actually, the first iteration was an Excel document. It was an Excel document. And now you see how far I have taken this, right? From an Excel document to a React web page to my first mobile app to now we're adding more features to it, right? But I digress. My time is the most important thing to me. And you'll say, oh, isn't it your wife? No. Oh, isn't it your son? No. Like, it is my time. Now, based on my family's needs, I will allocate time. But if I was to say that they were more important than my time, anybody or anything was more important than my time, then I would just like willy-nilly just go and stand and stare at someone, do whatever anyone wanted to do without any progression of myself. And that's why I put my time first. And I value, all right, so what I'm doing, what value does it bring? Primarily to me, and then to the other people that are important to me. So I might have to make a decision. Okay, there's two competing interests, right? And what's going to be the value of my time if I go to this part or I go to that part? And I have to make a decision. And the pushback that I got from the time cost calculator was, oh, there's some things that you can't put a monetary value on. I'm like, no, that's rubbish. You can put a monetary value on anything. And then you have to decide, all right, is the monetary value of this worth it or not? You're not making a decision based on the money, but you're making a decision based on the cost of your time. So I can make a decision like, okay, well, if I go to, Here's a perfect example. So my son, he just finished his T-ball season, his pre-T-ball season, and the coach, which I grew up with, I went through unsuspectedly, he was a coach, and he reached out to me like, "Hey, could you be my assistant coach?" And I had to decide, do I like the value of my time? It doesn't change, right? It doesn't change. But for that hour and a half that for practice and another hour and a half for game day, it's the cost is the same whether I am doing something else or I'm coaching. So now I had to have a decision to make. What is the value of coaching and being at the game and helping the kids versus something else that I could do, right? And I found more value in my time coaching the kids and my son and helping and meeting these parents and stuff like that. But the cost of my time did not change. And I was able to make a wise decision based on knowing what my time is valued at. So now when I'm doing things, I make sure that I see, okay, what is the value? What is the benefit of doing this? And not just, oh, because someone says, oh, let's go and do this. No, I have to calculate it. I use my calendar religiously. I'm looking at it. I'm scheduling things because I need to know. And I do plan to add in a calendar integration to the time cost calculator, but I need to know what this is costing me. And then I can decide based on that. That is just how I value my time. And the reason that most people are miserable and they don't get anything done is because they don't value their time. They don't know how much their time is worth. And also some people, they find out that their time is worth so little that they'd rather not know about it instead of finding how to make their time worth more. So one thing that I do, I'm always looking for, okay, if I do this thing, what value does it bring to me? Because if you only do something that's going to bring value to somebody else, people never, although they might say it with their words, they never appreciate your time. They appreciate their time and they appreciate the fact that you are running on their schedule, but they don't appreciate your time. And here's how I'm gonna break it down. Because I do a lot of things for other people, but I always look for where's the value that I get in it, right? And I have to have some type of value in what I'm doing. I'll give you an example. When I do these streams, right? Or I do a vibe code and chill or whatever, I hope and pray that you get benefit from it. But if you don't, well, sorry. But my primary value comes in learning about C++, learning about AI, learning about C-Line, and we're learning about how to build a plugin for Windows, learning how to build a native OBS plugin, learning how to build mobile apps, learning about seeing what reviewing what these tech leaders are saying, reviewing what the stocks and all that type of stuff. I am learning so much. But if I wasn't if I wasn't and I was only focusing on the whims of how people feel about what I'm doing or not doing, I just wouldn't do it. That's number one. And I would go crazy. And that's why, like, when I'm doing a vibe code and chill, even if I'm the only one there, I'm like, oh, I'm creating things for the future. I'm reviewing what I'm doing. And it's just like iterations of focus. And that's why I believe in that your time should have a multi-layered approach, a multi-layered benefit, but your benefit is the first. Your benefit is the first. Because even if other people do not appreciate what you're doing, at least you know that you found value in what you were doing. One more quick example. I told you guys I was building cabinets for my parents over the Thanksgiving break. Well, what value did I get out of that? Like, why would I spend hours when I could be doing something else? Well, was it that, oh, well, my parents make them happy and stuff like that? No. Do I want them to be happy? I guess, right? But I got to actually go through the process of putting these cabinets together, the cabinets, the top cabinets, the wall cabinets, the base cabinets, and all of that, and actually exploring like, okay, how long is this going to take me? What is the process? Oh, okay, this is how Home Depot's cabinets go and stuff like that. Oh, if I want to add more cabinets to my kitchen, if I want to replace my kitchen, this is how we would do it. All that type of stuff. So now I am learning something. So I'm happy that other people can benefit from what I'm doing, but my primary intention is what is going to be like, what am I going to be getting out of this? Is it selfish? Absolutely. Absolutely. And like I told you earlier, before I started this, God is not done with me yet. He's not done with me yet. Right. So am I wrong for being that selfish? Probably, but sorry, not sorry, because I know, and I've seen it over and over and over again. People will use up your time like a leech. They don't care, and then they'll just be gone. They will be gone with the wind, gone in 60 seconds. They don't care. So whatever, and then when they just disappear on you, you're going to be bitter. You're going to be upset. You're going to be like, damn, I really wasted my time on these people. Right. So, or it could be on something. So my goal, my number one priority is that I need to be learning, getting some type of value out of what I'm doing, because I am not going to burn myself out for no reason. Can someone else benefit? I hope someone does benefit, but if they do not, I know that I still put in the work for myself, and I'm still building myself. And as far as the selfishness part, like I said, God ain't done with me yet, right? He has his hand on me, and it is what it is. It is what it is. Right? That is my icebreaker for today. Let me know. Am I wrong? Am I wrong on my perspective of why my time is super duper valuable to me? All right. Let's get back to work. Well, let's start work. We haven't started work yet. So let me check the chat real quick, and then we will get up to it. All right. Junior says that I'm going to need to see that interview. Yeah, it's really good. He is breaking down, he's answering questions about AI and consciousness. And so far I'm halfway through. I stopped around the point where he's talking about, when he was talking about, so no, I didn't stop at this point. I got past this point, but he's talking about the Anthropic who blackmailed, like the Anthropic model, when they tried to shut it down, blackmailed somebody to not get shut down, and talking about AI jobs and stuff like that. So we're going to review it, but not the video. I'm going to read the transcript later on, all that good stuff, right? But it is time for us to officially get to work. So what we're going to do, I'm going to open Sea Lion. And I am going to show you, first let's do this, right? So I am going to, thinking. What are we going to do? So let's do this. I'm going to show you the plugin first, right? Let's do this. And I am going to go over to here. And so this is Sea Lion. I'm going to throw in my OBS over here. And I disabled the preview so it doesn't like, you don't have to see like the video part of it. But in here is the plugin where you will say how many video slots you wanted to display. And we have, and I was showing this over the weekend on Vibe Code and Show as well. Do I still have, so before we'd have to go into the script section. We needed to have Python installed on our computer. It was a bit clunky, messy. Like if someone wanted to use it, it would require them to install Python. Not the best experience. It would be like, especially like if you're not very tech savvy, installing Python, telling the computer where it's located, then so then you'd have to, like, every time you want to update a video, you'd have to go in here. And so this is basically how it was. And then this thing was never really accurate. all that good stuff, right? You choose your target source, all of that, right? But now what we have is we have where, number one, you can say, fetch the title of the video. It's going to put the title in here. And then if you click load over here, so I'll should give you an example. So this is going to be our first video that we're reviewing. But then here, if I say, so fetch the title, if I say load, it's going to load the video in the source doc where I'm going to be controlling the video. And then it would be playing I can switch to the scene so you can see how it's going to look. Let's say we go to, so this is where the video would be playing that I just loaded, and I would control it through the source doc. I can use all my keyboard controls, all of that good stuff, right? So that is that is the main feature of it. Here's where I choose which, what do you call it? I choose which browser source. So like here, when you add the browser source, is where I choose which one it's going to be playing in, and it's going to target that source to load the video in, and I can see all my resources. If I add a new source, I would say refresh sources, and then it's going to show that other source for me to add it in. And then I can say how many video slots I want to populate. It goes up to 10. I only have 2 for today, and so I added the save button because it was having an issue like auto saving my last configuration. So when I would say save, or when I would just close it out and then I'd open it back up, I'd have to do everything over again. So I just said, you know what, let's do a save button to make it easier. So like if I close it and I open it back up, everything is populated. I really wish it would just auto save, but it was too messy. And I was like, you know what, let's just stop fighting with it. Let's just get it to work, right? So that is the plugin in a nutshell, and it interacts with this browser doc plugin that I did not create, but it exists in the OBS plugin repository, and it's just using a regular browser source over here as well. So it connects perfectly with existing plugin or existing features and one plugin that you would have to add, but it works really good. So I'm really excited about that, right? So that is how the plugin works. But there was a lot that went into it, relatively a lot of money, right? But on the grand scheme of things, it was pretty cheap, because if I was to ask somebody to do this for me, it might take a few weeks and it might cost about a few grand, maybe. I don't know. I'm guessing. We'll research that, right? So what I want to do, first thing I want to do, I want to show you how much it cost me to build, the bulk of the cost to build this plugin, right? There were some little charges every now and then from the API usage, but I went crazy on Friday, and I think I made a mistake in how I approached it. I could have, and you'll see it when I show you my prompts, I could have did something smarter, but I didn't, because I just was frustrated. But I should have took a step back like I eventually did, and then I got it to work. So let's go over into, let me show you here. Let's go into Firebase, right? Let's go to here. Let's go to Firebase. So my current month spending is $5.16, right? But if we go to, and they're forecasting that I'm going to spend $752. Yeah, that's what I said. I'm like, $752? What in the world? But here's the reason why. Let me see if I can drill down into, so not 7 days. Can I customize this? Let me see if I go to view detailed report, and it's estimating that I'm going to be spending $752, right? Hopefully that is not the case. I don't think it's going to be the case, but the reason is, let me see, $5.16 for December 2nd. So December 2nd was on Tuesday, where we were working on the time cost calculator, right? So this is something that we have not done on this channel. Is I didn't even start the I didn't start the timer. Oh.
It's time to do.
I'll start it now. I will start it now. It is what it is. So if I go over to, let's see, where can I, so time range, just say, let's do November 1st to November 30th, right? And everything is all cool and easy. November 2nd, 109. November 9th, it was 58 cents. Gemini API, Gemini API, Gemini API, November 4th. So I'm guessing this was, let me see if I can guess the date. This one is 371, November 11th. Let me just take a look at the calendar. Calendar. I can just use this calendar right here. Let's say November 2nd, Sunday. All right. The 4th. All right. And then nothing on the 6th, which is interesting. November 9th was probably Sunday. And then we had 371 on the 11th, which was a Tuesday, and then 97. So it's pretty cheap. And then I went absolutely berserk on November 28th, right? Which was November 28th would have been Friday, because I was trying to get the app to work on Friday, and I just went crazy on it. So I got I spent $68 on Gemini API credits getting this stuff to work, right? And then on Sunday we spent $2 getting the I spent $2 getting the OBS plugin to work, and we did a little bit of work on the speech app, right? So now if we go to current month, apply, we spent, so December 2nd, we spent December 2nd, 2 days ago, we spent $5, right? So basically they're projecting that we're going to spend a bunch of money, but we're not, right? This is like not true. But guess what? I don't mind. See, Google Cloud Assistant and billing is an AI powered. I'll just enable that. Why not? Let's see. Create cost reports using custom commands. Enable this API and project to use Gemini Cloud Assistant. I'm not gonna enable it for now. But here's the thing, right? On my Black Friday spending was on Gemini API keys, because I wanted to get this plugin to finally work. I think it was Saturday or part of Saturday. I spent part of Saturday getting it to work on Windows. So it was a big cost for one day, which I think I could have got it for less, but I got frustrated with how things were going. But that is why the cost ballooned the way that it did. Let me see if I do this right. So this one day made the cost go to $68, but then everything else is about standard, right? I think there was another time that I also did the same thing that I had a big bill. I think, was it last month? Let me see. Let me go to October. Did I have another day like that in October? That was a $16, not too bad. So the API, like using the API through Kilo does has its expenses, but the amount of usage that I did, I don't know if I would have been able to do that much in like a Cursor or a Windsurf or a Cairo or Kiro, whatever they call it. You know what I mean? So I'm okay with it. And knowing that the mistake that I did to get it to that price, I could have avoided it, makes me feel pretty good. All right. So now let's jump into the actual prompts. We'll start off with how I got it to work on the Mac to build the package. So first they had me build a plugin, it's a story. So let's do this. Let's go over here. It's a whole story. It is a whole story, right? So let's go with view all tasks maybe. And this is the one that cost me a lot right here. That's the one that cost me a pretty penny. So let's start off with .5 days. So this is 5 days ago. Let me see, when was 5 days ago? Five days ago was 1, 2, 3, 4. That was Saturday-ish, right? So let's start off with this one. So this is the one that we were doing on, let me see. Hold on. Let's start off with a week ago, 6 days ago. Let me see, 6 days ago. No, a week ago would be good. I think a week ago would be good because we were working on this a week ago. So if we go to a week ago. So this is when we started converting it with Python, right? And we said that we built the app using Python. We gave it where the script was, right? And that is where we left off. It did a bunch of stuff for us. And so we went there. And then I wasn't really liking the direction that it was taking us in because I was trying to do like exactly what the Python code did. And it just wasn't working out. It wasn't being built properly. So then I said that, let me see this one. Let me see. Take a look at this one. So this was starting to be like after the show Friday. I'll help you build the error. So it's creating the CMake file and all that. Verify the existence. And it's reading the files. So basically, this is what happened, right? This is what happened. I'm going to go to one more. I'm going to go to one more prompt, all right? So you can have a good, so I said, let me see. So this is the one that I said, right? I said, can we rethink how we're building the plugin? We want a doc that has where you can enter the YouTube plugin video ID or the YouTube video URL. And when you enter the URL, it extracts the video ID. And I said, there's a Lua plugin for custom lower third that has a browser source to display the lower third and a browser doc where you can configure the lower third. How can we have a plugin similar to that to use the plugin implementation to display the YouTube embedded video, but also set the video IDs to be loaded, right? So that was like, I said, like, let's use that because we weren't getting to where I wanted it to be. So then it actually rebuilt and created the whole thing over again. Actually, let me see. So after I said that, let's go all the way to the top. Let's use this. That was a lot of prompt. Oh, so this was the expensive prompt, right? So we went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So to implement the doc and source architecture, you described using C++. We have two main design choices. Option A, native Qt doc, or option B, a browser doc. We went with the native Qt doc, right? So that's why you see it displayed the way that it is perfectly in OBS. I'm going to do this as well. I am going to put this doc here real quick so you can see my beautiful doc. It's going to be on the screen. I want you to see my beautiful doc, all right? So to build that, I recommend the Qt doc. I say, yes, let's go with the Qt doc option. And it started doing all the work. Configure CMake for Qt and OBS front-end API, YouTube doc class, all of that, right? So it planned out the whole thing. It said this is the implementation plan, wrapper source, all of that. It built it out, implemented, giving us all the steps, and then it went on its way. It started chugging along. Did all of this. And then we got to the point. So here's where we got into the issue, right? Kilo Code with Gemini 3 Pro API key built the plugin great. It was fantastic at building the plugin. However, to actually quote unquote compile and build and install the plugin, that is where we ran into a ton of issues. It was a ton of issues, right? And being that I am in the tech space, I know how, and especially in QA, I think being in QA and having that troubleshooting mindset is what really saved me, because I was like, all right, you said that it's built, but it's not working. So first issue, I learned so much about what this SIMDE configuration folder is, I had to learn how to the paths to build this application, to build a plugin, the setting up an OBS quote unquote dev environment, which we were using. So basically what I said was, all right, now that the stream is over, and this is not installing, can we like use our regular OBS to see if we can get this to install, right? So we're learning about the SIMDE paths and troubleshooting all the errors. So, and that's why this was so long, that because I'm trying to get this thing to work, right? And then I'm researching. It says, okay, this doesn't exist. It was an absolute nightmare trying to get this to work, and that's why it cost so much. So there was that, trying to get it configured, and I'm going to go, so see over here, it says everything is done, build and verify, right? So now when I'm like, all right, so this is done. When I tried, it says try to install it. So here's the first issue. It built the plugin with .so, right? And I think for older versions of OBS, it would require .so. The newer version of OBS, which I'll show you, I'm going to show you this. Let me see if I can find one of these. What is this? PWD. Oh, there goes one right here. Is it this one? It's not this one. Let me see which one is this. PWD. Application support. So basically, dang it, I can't find it. I have so many of these. Oh yeah, what was that one? Okay, so I had got the build version of OBS Studio, right? So what I was doing was trying to install the plugins, the plugin that was generated, the .so file, into the plugin directory, right? And what I would notice is that it was creating our plugin with OBS, so it was naming it OBS YouTube video share.so, right? And I'm looking here and I'm looking for like the .so, and most of these were actually .plugin files. And when I would install my .so file, it would not work at all. I'm like, why is it not working? And so then I'm like, okay, so I told him, like, well, I see that inside of the OBS plugins folder, they're called .plugin and not .so. What gives? And he says, oh, okay, you know what? On the newer version of OBS, it uses the .plugin folder directory. So I'll see if I can find where I said that. So this is just me I'm just troubleshooting a bunch of stuff. Can I search in here? I don't know if I can search in here. Can I just copy everything? Can I do that? Let me try to copy this into a text edit. Let's see if this is going to work. So if I search for .plugin, oops. find all. Maybe it doesn't have my, oh, this is not it. No, that's not it. Never mind. So I'm not gonna be able to get that. But basically, I had ended up saying that this one is like going into a .plugin folder. And so this, okay, so I must have got it to work over here, right? I must have got it to work. So I'm saying that, let me see. Okay, so the first issue I was having, it was trying to create a source for the YouTube video. So then I would hear the audio playing, but I wouldn't see the actual video. So I said, all right, you know what? We've been trying to go back and forth with this. This is not working. Can we just have it target a browser source the way that we've been doing? We know that works. So we keep the native doc for the YouTube videos like we see over here, but we target it to be a browser source, and we don't have to worry about that native video source. So I said, cool, let's do that. Let me see. Then we said, so that was playing. Let's see what else we got. I said, let's not do the autoplay. Let's go down to, all right. So this is where I said it, right? I said that, if I can find it. So when I click load, I don't see anything. I think it's a YouTube restriction because the audio was able to play earlier. I don't think, because it said, oh, maybe it's a YouTube restriction. I said, I don't think so because the audio played. Can you check how the Python script did it and see what's different in our implementation? Maybe it wasn't on this one. So it was checking the differences. Didn't really find anything great. I choose something. So then I said I can see the video ID is being passed, but it's not playing the video, right? So that's why, like, at some point I said, all right, let's just change it. And that's why, like, I never feel like, oh, AI is going to be taking over this, taking over that, because humans still need to make the decisions. Like, you can get the insight. AI is a great research tool, decent at writing code. But I was like, all right, this is like, we're like, and this is probably what spent like a good portion of the money as well. I was trying to get this thing to work a particular way. Let me see if I can find where I said, you know what, where did I make the executive decision to, like, all right, let's just stop this. Those features, we have increment, decrement. Did I get it to work at that point? Maybe I did. I missed a video slot. So these are the features that you're seeing, that you saw on there. Let me see. That's like the increment and decrement. Let's see. I forgot stuff it didn't do. Now we're trying to build the app or build the plugin. It was a mess, right? So I must have made the decision at that already to use the browser source. Fixing things. But that's where a big bulk of the cost came from. Like getting it to work exactly like I wanted it to work. So now it's building the plugin. Okay, so here it must have worked, right? And then I said, all right, now Mac. So for somebody to be able to install it, right? They're not like, I can't tell somebody, hey, you have to navigate to the user directory and find the library folder, which is hidden by default, the application support folder, find your OBS file. I'm like, no, we need to do it as a package file so that they can just double click, say install it. It's going to install the right location. So I said, all right, we need to generate the package file.
Lunch break. All
right. I'll just finish this. We need to generate the package file so it can be easy for people to install. And now that was a whole nother heap of trouble that we ran into. It said that it couldn't find the location to install it, right? Because when I was testing it, I was copying the file into a particular directory, seeing it work, and now I'm like, all right, now let's create the package file. It ain't happening. It is not happening. And I'm saying, all right, these are the files that it finds, but it's not finding the one that I need. Let me see. All right, so we'll stop it at that right now. And then when we get back from break, we will review how we got the package file to work. And then we go into the Windows portion of it all, how I got it to install on Windows. All right. But that it was fun, but it was also a headache. But like I said, I value my time over everything. So what I learned about building a C, like using C++ for the first time, building a native app, seeing it work, and then distributing the app to my friends and seeing that they were able to get it to work as well. Like the cost that I paid to do this, negligible to what if I was to hire somebody to build this for me. C++ is a niche language nowadays. Not many people code in it. So it would cost a lot. I mean, I'm not going to say not many people code in it, but it's just more people are doing Java, more people are doing C#, more people are doing Node.js and stuff like that, React, all that. It's going to cost you a pretty penny to get an app like this done. And to get it for less than $100 and you understand what's happening, you have control over it, the code is yours. You're not going to get that anywhere, right? So let's go to break and then we shall come back for more recap and more going through it, and then we're going to try to implement the last two the request that I received from Rod Brown and from Junior. All right, so let's go to the chat, see if there's anything in the chat, and then if not, we will get to break. Let's see. Oh my goodness. Can it be? We got Phil Knight in the building. What's up, Phil Knight? How are you doing? How have you been? You have been truly missed over here. Phil Knight says, next request, OBS plugin that pulls chats, likes, follows, etc. from TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, etc. So I will say this. I don't know if that exactly exists, but there is a plugin called, there is, what is his name? Adium, which I know they have a whole layout that does a lot of stuff. They have the multi-stream, they have the vertical streaming, the vertical mode. And I know they have a whole layout for OBS as well that they might do it, but if they don't, we will, right? But you have to I'm pretty sure there's some not for Mac. I know that, but for Windows, I'm pretty sure they have some plugins that do that. But shout out to you. Welcome. Happy to see you here. Hopefully everything has been going good for you. All right. We're going to get into the, I still need to do the thing where I still need to set up the shortcut that hides the chat messages on my Stream Deck. But we're going to get into our very first, let me get my doc back. Our very first break time conversation for tonight. Let's go over to Amazon. Amazon said, stop stealing our stuff. You know how these people be jailbreaking what do you call it? The Firesticks, which it's been happening for a very long time. So I want to see what Amazon has to, or what's being done about it. Right. So let's go ahead and watch this together.
Amazon is cracking down on illegal sports streaming via its Fire TV Stick devices. The move was first reported by The Athletic. Amazon told the outlet it would block third-party apps that are loaded onto the devices to provide pirated content. And last month, It launched a Fire Stick with new security features so customers can only download content from Amazon's App Store. Piracy is a big issue in the world of sports specifically. According to The Athletic, nearly 5 million people in the UK watched an illegal sports stream in the 6 months leading up to October. Adam Leventhal, the football writer for The Athletic, has written about this issue and joins us now. So, Adam, you got some data outlining the scale that people watch illegal streams on these devices. What did you find?
Yeah, good evening, Lindsay. It's been
and it's not only illegal sports. They will watch like movies, TV shows. And it connects. I know back in the days, and I'm pretty sure this is how it still works, right? But it connects to these servers because they have the websites where you can watch sports. Probably get a lot of viruses, but you can watch sports, you can watch movies and stuff like that. And people will sell these Fire Sticks, right? People sell these Fire Sticks, and now the illegal content is flowing through there. I wonder if you have illegal content flowing through your proprietary device, does that make you liable for the illegal content on your device? I don't know. I'm going to say no, though. I'm going to say no because people use computers and phones to do illegal things, and you don't hold the phone manufacturer accountable for what people do with their device. So I'm going to say no. Although they did, like, I think wrongfully, they did sue the firearm manufacturer. Was it what was the firearm manufacturer that got sued for the Sandy Hook stuff? That's the one that I have. What is the name of the one that I have? Dang it. What is? Oh my God, I can't remember the name of the manufacturer, but they had but they did sue them for that. And I think they won. I think they won, which I think it's absolutely crazy that they sued the manufacturer. But whatever. But I don't think you can sue the manufacturer. I don't think the manufacturer is liable for people using their products in a way that it was not intended to use. Also, though, I think for them to enforce people only installing from the App Store is they need to make it a way that it can't be jailbroken, and you can't stop that. You can't stop that, right? You can't stop not like a software device or a hardware device from being jailbroken because Apple was supposed to be unjailbrokenable, right? They even jailbroke Claude from what we saw, right? So I don't know how they actually plan on stopping it. They can stop it from like the native device, the native application, from being able to install from additional sources, because you can do that on your Android device. But if somebody jailbreaks it, then it's on and popping.
An interesting journey, this, looking into the underground world of illegal streaming. We recently did a survey on The Athletic as a follow-up to the documentary, and they basically stated from our subscribers, and there was over 5,000 people that actually took it, that 47% of subscribers actually illegally streamed. And with Amazon in particular, we went on a little bit of a journey with them, because obviously we found out over the summer that they were starting to block some of the apps that were being side-loaded onto the hardware. And we must point out that the hardware isn't illegal, it's just the software that is loaded onto these devices that you can see there. And there was some suggestions that Amazon were facing a little bit of pressure from US law enforcement due to some risks that associated with the malware that was being loaded onto the hardware via these apps. And they actually pushed back on that precise claim. But they also did say that they don't necessarily comment on their interactions with law enforcement. And in the same breath, we also found out that 4 of the apps that they had actually blocked were, in their words, exhibiting malicious behavior. So it's clearly a problem, and they are clearly making steps now, as you mentioned, a new device that they've launched to try.
Yeah, like I said earlier, like I know that they package malware and stuff into these side-loaded illegal apps. But people eat them up, though. People eat them up. Like people like there are people who sell these special Fire Sticks. You know, like I hear it all the time, right? But you can get into serious trouble for it. You know,
and make sure that people can't use and abuse the device to enable piracy.
How has the shift towards streaming impacted sports fans' ability to see all the games they want to watch?
Well, they are moving in that direction.
I will say this as well. Before, maybe this year, last year, before Amazon started streaming sports, they didn't really care. I'm gonna say they didn't really care. But now that they have joined the sports streaming business, now they're losing out on the money. So now they're all right. Enough is enough. You are not gonna be stealing from us.
How dare you?
You know, so they're like, all right, well now, we're gonna stop it. We're gonna try to stop it at least. People can still jailbreak and sideload and stuff like that. It's still gonna be possible, but they're gonna make an effort to stop it themselves, you know?
Because they have greater optionality. They can go to one place and they can watch all of the games that they want at any one time. But obviously the industry is hugely worried about this. We know that the Motion Picture Association, who have waged a decades-long war against piracy in all its forms, be it sports or entertainment, they say that $28 billion is what is being lost to piracy. Wow. And I think that, you know, the fact that Amazon have made these steps, it has been long a frustration of broadcasters and leagues and, you know, sports organizations that the Fire Stick has allowed piracy to sort of grow. So this is a step forward, and I think that it will be welcomed by many out there. But obviously, there are plenty of old Fire Sticks out there as well. So many people will be able to continue doing what they're doing. But they do say, Amazon, that they're going to be blocking apps on the new devices and the old devices. And they've already started doing that in Europe, and that's going to be rolled out globally. So although it is a whack-a-mole game, the piracy game, for you know, the people trying to push back on it, you know, maybe they are trying to make some steps forward and maybe see some light at the end of the tunnel.
Adam Leventhal, thank you.
I don't think it's going to be very. I think it is a PR thing. They're not going to be very successful in their endeavors to stop the piracy, because guess what? When did, let me see. When did Amazon Fire Sticks come out? Amazon Fire Sticks came out November 9th. The first Fire Stick came out November 19th, 2014. About 11 years ago, right? About 11 years ago. Content has been pirated. I can't even tell you, since Napster, maybe. Like, was Napster the first way to not even I mean, Napster was like the first way to download it and stuff. But all right, pirating. Let's go back some more. Pirating. When you would take a cassette tape and you would copy that tape, you know, you'd put in the two tapes. You say, all right, play this one, record that one, and now you're copying. You're pirating. You're already pirating music at that point. Then CDs came out, right? And then the CD burner came out, right? So now we're copying that, and then the DVD burner came out. And you can only use it for you know, creating your own thing, putting content on it, but you couldn't copy. But guess what? Because they'd have the original DVD like lockdown. There was software to unlock the locked DVDs so you can make a copy of it. So, and then Napster, downloading music. Then they had the torrents where you can download the movies. Then they had the servers, like I don't even remember the name of it, but like I know Plex server, like a media server. So let's say they were to find a way to prevent the Fire Stick from being able to like they won't find a way, but let's say they were able to find a way to block it from piracy. Well, people will go to like a Raspberry Pi or some Android based computer that they just plug to their TV. Firestick is just convenient, but it's not necessary. You can plug your computer to it. Like, so it is a whack-a-mole game, and Amazon is doing something about it. I'll put it like this. I will put it like this.
So that was cute.
It's cute. It is cute.
So that was cute.
But there's not really much you can do. Like, let's see if I can find one of these things. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Google based computer media device. So I can find that on Amazon. Let's see. Let's see if they have these still. It's a Mac. They used to have these computers that were like Google based, not like a Chromebook, but it's like a Google based computer for like 50, 60 bucks, if that much. And you just buy one of those devices and you would be able to use that as a computer. Maybe they have it on Temu. Maybe they have it on Temu. Let's go to Google computer. Say Google desktop. There we go. So if they were to get maybe something looking like this, when you install Android on it, you have a workaround, right? So it protects Amazon, and they can say that they're doing what they're supposed to do, right? But it's an exercise in fruition. It is an exercise in fruition, all right? But like I said,
So that was cute.
or like Fawny said, that was cute. That was cute. All right. Let me check the chat, and then we're going to get to our second segment of work. Let me see what we got. Let me see. Phil Knight says, I'm good. Amazon needs to mind their business. Phil Knight just told Amazon,
Do not come.
let me see. The Hawaii matey with the pirate logo or the pirate emoji says they hold the internet providers accountable. That is true. However, what if they're using a VPN? What if you're using a VPN? So what if you take like probably wouldn't be able to do this. Well, you might be able to do it if you have your whole internet routing through a VPN. I don't know. What if you use a VPN to block that, right? So now your internet provider, they shouldn't be held accountable for that, I suppose. It says the internet provider can cancel your service. I hear that. It says it is very simple to jailbreak things nowadays. Exactly. I mean, they jailbroke Claude, right? It says even before that. See, I went back to the cassette tapes, and so that says even before that. Let me see. It says Remington, they settled like idiots because the PLCCA federal law protects the gun companies from these lawsuits. They settled and they went bankrupt. Was it Remington? Oh, what is the name? No, it wasn't Remington that they used for, unless Remington was the parent owner. I mean, what is Bushmaster? Wasn't it Bushmaster who got sued? Let me see. Bushmaster sued by Sandy Hook? Was it Bushmaster or Remington? Oh, it was okay. So it was Remington. So all right, yes, the families of Sandy Hook victims sued the manufacturer of Bushmaster rifle using the and reaching out this landmark. Oh, okay. So Remington Arms is the parent company of. Okay, I got you. Okay, yes, yeah. All right. So I thought Bushmaster was the parent company, but Remington Arms was the parent company, and they ended up going back. Why would I not just? I should just believe Junior when he tells me something about this type of stuff. But I gotta do my due diligence, right? I gotta do my due diligence. But yeah, I was like, it didn't make any sense to me. 70. It doesn't. You can't blame the tool or the maker of the tool, right? And uTorrent is another one. uTorrent is another one. Let's see. And Finesse says they're trying to add regulations toward VPNs. Yeah. Because they have VPNs who all over the world though. And they have the VPN servers all over the world. So, and if you add regulations towards VPNs, then that defeats the purpose of an actual VPN, right? So I don't know how they're gonna do this. It's weird. It's weird all around. I don't know. All right, we are going to jump into another session for tonight. Let's get to it.
Let's go! Let's go!
All right, so here we are. So I tried to install the package, right? I got the, so eventually I got the, let me see what I have over here. Source doc plugin. So these are what I had located here. I'm trying to get the package file. So like I was saying before, the issue was we were trying to do it was creating a .so file. I was investigating, like, but these have .plugin. So then it turns out with the newer version of OBS, I think 30 and up, it needs a .plugin file instead of .so file. Got that taken care of, right? The install command, destination, library, application support, OBS plugins is relative to the install path. Let me see what else we were doing. Let's see. So that reverted the package logic to use the OBS plugin template. Okay, so then I said, all right, one thing I noticed that with the product build, the installation was 1.1, and with the package build, it was 2 KB. So it was like, there's no way that this could be right. And since the installer was empty. So basically, we went back and forth, and eventually we got, like, it was able to work, right? Something that I didn't like was, is there a way to make the entire doc scrollable? Because based on the, I'm gonna show you the doc as well. Let me get the doc back out. So this thing wasn't scrolling, right? And this used to be on top. So when I place it into, like, when I docked it onto somewhere, I would only see this, and I wasn't able to add, to update the videos, right? So I said, I can't scroll because the target section doesn't have a scroll, and I can't get to the videos since the target source won't often change. We could put that at the bottom and have the whole thing happen. So it did it. So at this point, I'm able to see the plugin working. I think I was able to create the package, install it, all that good stuff. So now I'm making like little customizations to it. And we officially got it to work over here, right? Let me see. Now I think it started spinning. So this is 10:33 p.m. on, not sure which day this was. Probably either, I don't know, this was either Thursday or Friday. I don't know. Right. So now when I close it, so now we went back and forth trying to say, like, when I close it, it doesn't automatically save the state and I have to add it back in, yada, yada, yada. We tried to get that to work. It was not working at all. So, let me see. Eventually I said, all right, you know what? Can you just add a save button? And we were able to do that. Let me see if I can find out where I said that. It was like rebuilding, not working, rebuilding, not working. A lot of time, like getting it to work to a certain point was good, right? But now when you start to customize it, now is when you start getting into like little issues here and there. And Kilo just like going back and forth trying to get it to work, not happening. And then I eventually said, let me see, make this bigger. I eventually said that and now OBS wouldn't open at all anymore, right? Because it was crashing. So we went back and forth trying to get that to work. Let me see if I can scroll. And it's reading the log, seeing where it's failing. It blamed it on the old script. It was not the old script. Let's see. I'm pasting stuff. I'm pasting like results into there. Oops. Oh, great. There is something with Kilo where you cannot see everything. Let me see if I do that. View all tasks. Look for the 79 one. All right, so here, what was I doing here? So I'm asking you questions, and it's not all right. Can I figure out why the build isn't working for the dock save state instead of throwing things at the wall? So yeah, so I got frustrated. I got frustrated, all right, because it kept on trying to do anything and everything, and it was just like starting to just throw stuff at the wall, and I'm like, all right. And I'm looking at the cost, I'm like, all right, we're at 79, you're just throwing stuff at the wall, right? I should have done this earlier instead of just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So I asked it, like, I asked it, can we figure out why the build isn't working for the dock save state instead? Because we were able to install it before, but then once you got to like trying to save where we left off, it just couldn't get it right. And we're just throwing stuff at the wall, and to see what sticks, I said, all right, let's not do that anymore. And then it tried one more thing, and I said, you know what? I've had enough. Let's stop this, because it failed to build. I stopped this, which I should have did that a lot earlier, probably around like I don't even know at what point we should have did it, but I should have stopped it, right? So what I ended up doing is, if we take a look at view all, and we look at the $79 one, and then I said, all right, I started over. And that's why sometimes AI will get into this loop of it's just trying based on its previous wrong assumptions, and you can't get anywhere, right? So I started over, and I said, let me see. Where did I say it? Okay, starting from here. I said, can you analyze the failure, figure out the cause, and fix that? The build keeps failing at the same exact spot. So it started over, right? And I think I put it in ask mode or in debug mode. And it started analyzing, create a new to-do list. And let me see, list the files in the current directory. Reviewed all the files. Examined stuff. Read everything, analyzed the build log. I provided the build log. Oh, I said, I don't have any build logs. Can we try to, oh yeah, I said, I don't have any build logs. Can we try to build and see what fails, right? So we tried to build it, and it found the failure. Analyzed it. added some debugging type stuff. And then got some more errors, but we started making progress, right? And then it finally built it. It finally built it at that point. And then I was happy. Can we build a package? So then we tried to do the PKG file for Mac, and we did it. we were able to do it, right? So I should have started over a long time ago. I should have started over a long time ago. We built the package file, we installed it, all that good stuff. And then I said, can we add the save button? We added the save button that you saw. Let me see what was the last thing that we did on this one. Rebuild the package with the save function. Yeah, with the save functionality. And we're getting some other issue. 1 a.m. in the morning. Oh yeah, and that's when it gave up on me. Kilo actually gave up on me at some point. And from there, let's go back, view all the tasks. But that one cost me a lot less than the other one did. And so I started a new one. I started a new window. I said, we're at the very last steps of getting this to work, right? I said, we're at the last steps of getting this to work. The only issue is the last state of the plugin to save when we close out OBS. The dock is active in the place we want it to be. The target source was selected. Can you help figure that out? Did so. We went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And we got it to build. And we were able to install it. Right? You see, close that out. All right, so that was actually getting our the first working version of the app. Then to my chagrin, I asked Beloved if he uses OBS on his Mac or on Windows, and he said on his Windows only. Yep, that's what he told me. So I went down the rabbit hole of getting it to work on Windows, and that one was a doozy. All right. Let me see if I can find this. So let's go over to... All right, so is it even in this one? I don't know. Let me see. Yeah, so basically, I had to install Sea Lion on my Windows laptop, which is not the fastest one. And Kilo was not working for me well on the Windows computer, right? So I'm using Gemini to copy code into that and figure out why it's not working. Let me see. Is this the one that I used? The solution? I don't think it was this one, actually. Let me see. Do I have it in here? I think I should have it in here. No, that's on... Let me see. Windows OBS. I guess I don't have it in here. Where did I have it? Look for it somewhere. Should have been in this one. Thought it was in here. Maybe not. Either way, I had to. I'm trying to build OBS with C++, and I used the plugin template, the solution for Mac OS, the solution for Windows, solution for Linux. Let me see. So I started off with VS Code. I'm like, I don't like using VS Code. All right, so we have that. brew install this, configure. Do I have it for Windows anywhere here? Let me see. I don't see it for Windows. It might be in here, but the prompt is like, it was a lot of prompts, right? So it might not, I might not be able to find it. But basically, I had to install the libraries for Windows. I had to build it for all the libraries. I had to figure out how to get it to install, and then I had to figure out how to get it to install as an executable. I don't know where I did that. It's let me see. exe. Okay, let's go to .exe. The short, all right, so here we go. How would I install this on a Windows computer? Would it be an executable? So it's going to be a DLL. So Windows requires a DLL. Mac would require a plugin file, but the DLL and the plugin file is if you're going to copy it directly into the folder. People don't install that way. So I needed to be an executable that would move the DLL file into the like wherever it lives on Windows. So that was the next rabbit hole that we went down. Let's see here. So after I finally got it to work on Windows, then I was like, all right, now I have to go and do this inno setup and compiler and all. It was a lot. It was a lot. But like I said earlier, value of time. Learning how to do this on Windows was invaluable, because now we go like installing C++, like installing Windows 10, Windows 11 SDK, all that stuff, all that and through Gemini, it walked me through how to do all that type of stuff. So Gemini's web interface helped me figure out how to do it on Windows. Gemini API through Kilo Code helped me actually build it to set the foundation, right? So here we're saying if it's Windows 32, do this. If it's Apple, do that, right? So long story short, we got it to work on Windows, right? So, and I installed it on the Windows, saw it working eventually after a bunch of back and forth. I sent it to Junior. He installed it. It works there. Send it to Rod Brown. It works there. So Windows, we're good to go. As an executable, easy to install, perfect. I installed the package file on my other Mac, the one that I used to use before this one, and it was not working. I spent a good portion of Sunday and Monday trying to get it to work on the other Mac, writing a bunch of code, all this type of stuff, only to find out that the reason that it wasn't working on the other Mac was because I had an older version of OBS. So a bunch of changes and stuff that were done for absolutely no reason. So what I ended up doing was, and I can show you this prompt now, I did because whatever I did, it wasn't working anymore. So I said, all right, you know what? I'm going to push up the branch. So I have the branch for Windows that works, and I have the branch for the Mac that works. So I said, look, it says a kilo, because I was not going to get it through Gemini, right? So I said, I have a branch named Windows Integration where I got the plugin and built to create an executable file that works on Windows machines. However, when trying to get the current working version on Mac to work with Windows integration, I keep getting an error when trying to install it on a target Mac. Can you compare the main branch with the Windows integration branch to see what it would take to get our project to build on Windows and Mac? I said, don't override the branch that I have now because that's my working Mac branch. And we know it's working if you create a new, so I said, create a new branch to test it out. That would be the best way to do it. So it does a diff across the main branch. And, and we start to, let me see. Start looking at the files, investigating the differences between the Windows integration and the main branch. And it creates a branch, cross-platform branch. Then it does from the Windows integration branch. And then it analyzes the difference between main and Windows integration. And it starts doing its investigation, right? And then it's going to fix it eventually. So on the new branch, what I ended up doing is on the new branch, I go all the way down to the bottom. There were no errors on there. So I built the package from the cross-platform branch, and it worked. I haven't tried it on a Windows yet to see if that works, but it should be fine because it shouldn't have made any changes to Windows. But now it actually works, and we are in a great spot. So I'm not sure how much time is left in this segment, but we are going to we're going to update the plugin so it can have the features that Junior and Rod Brown were talking about.
Lunch break.
Well,
Lunch break.
there goes the end of that segment. So on our last segment, we're going to update the plugin live so that, and I'm going to maybe try to install it on our dev OBS so we can actually see it working. But we're going to, hopefully it'll work, but we're going to build it that way. And we're going to make the modifications. So the two modifications are using the share URL that YouTube has to also be able to be usable. Because right now you only can paste in the video ID or the long URL. So we're going to also make that available to use the share URL. And then we will also do something about the fetching of the titles. All right. So that is what we're going to do when we get back. Like I said, it was a lot of work. It was a lot of work, but it was well worth it. And you know what they say. You know how to say, because hard work is good work. Let's go. Let's get it.
Let's get it.
All right. We're going to jump into our next break time conversation. Let's go over to here. Google takes vibe coding to the next level. Let's see what that is all about. Where's my trusty plugin? Over here, and we're gonna go over here, and we're gonna say load this one, and we're gonna go over to boom. Let's go.
Google out with another new announcement as the AI coding space heats up. Deirdre Bosa breaking the news here exclusively for today's Tech Check. Deirdre.
Hey, morning, Sarah. So Google is tapping vibe code startup Replit in a multi-year partnership. It means that Replit will lean further into Google Cloud, and Google stays Replit's primary cloud provider. Now, for Google, this is all about giving Gemini 3 a front door into how people are actually building software in the AI age. For Replit, this is about going up market, more of an enterprise footprint. Now, this isn't just a crowded space. This is one of the hottest in AI right now. Vibe coding is when you tell an AI what you want, and it simply writes the code for you. Now, Cursor, another big name, is exploding alongside Anthropic's Claude. OpenAI has built coding, its tool Codex, straight into GPT, and Microsoft still owns the installed base with GitHub Copilot. Now, Google has its own AI coding tools, but they aren't the starting point for most people building with AI. Replit arguably has the broadest funnel in vibe coding, the place where non-technical teams, they go to build, which are increasingly the ones that are driving AI adoption inside of big companies, not necessarily the software engineers. So think marketing or finance staff trying to spin up internal AI tools all on their own. New data from...
And I'll say that a lot of engineers, they do not like these tools, but there are, if you go on X and you check out like the build in public communities, a lot of people who are not necessarily tech people, they're building out their platforms, their companies, and they're claiming, I don't know how true it is, but they're claiming that they are actually building SaaS softwares, getting a good amount of monthly returning revenue. How accurate, how true is that? I don't know. You can fake anything, right? But the non-tech people, they run into issues, of course, but they're able to get a good way towards their goals, their destinations, build MVPs, get users and stuff like that, without having that high barrier to entry to pay a software engineer or a firm tens of thousands of dollars, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars. They're able to pay a percentage of the cost through, like, you see what we're doing here, right? The app, like we're building mobile apps, we're building web apps, OBS plugins. Could probably build a desktop app if we wanted, right? So many different options that we have at our fingertips, but the software engineers, they do not like it yet. But if they were to embrace it, their productivity level would be out of this world. I'm telling you, all right?
Ramp, it shows that Replit had the fastest new customer growth among software vendors last month. Google, meanwhile, is adding new customers and spend faster than any other company on Ramp's platform. So you put those two together, you get a clearer picture of why both companies see an opportunity here. Now, all of this, guys, sets the stage for Gemini 3, a model that is putting pressure on OpenAI, but still needs real distribution to actually matter. Most people, they won't just switch because a benchmark says.
Distribution. The AI game, it's like the dope game, right? They have the best product, but they need distribution. So they're gonna tap into Kilo. They're gonna tap into Replit. They're probably gonna tap into Open Lovable, to all these providers, maybe into Kiro. Who knows? And it says, let me be your distribution point. Sell our products. Push our product. Replit, they're pretty. Let's go real quick. Let me see. Replit. I never used Replit before. Replit, turn your ideas into apps. Make me a business tool for business executives that helps schedule, track clients, meetings efficiently. So Replit is more like a Lovable, a Make.com, a CreateAnything.com or anything.com. Pricing. $20 per month if you pay per year, $25 per month. 3 full agent access, create apps and automation, autonomous app testing. But they're not like so they're not, all right, so what Google needs to do, they need to be the foundation for one of these platforms, which there's going to be for Replit. But then they also need to be the foundation for one of the coding assistant platforms, right? So Cursor, Copilot. They need to become the foundation for one of those, for like the same way that Cursor, whoever Cursor uses, maybe they use Claude. So they need to become the foundation.
that they should. Replit gives at least the coding part of Gemini 3 an access into real world, not just research labs. Guys, I will speak exclusively to Google Cloud President Matt Renner and Replit CEO Amjad Masad shortly. Be sure to tune into our second Tech Check segment for their color on the deal.
Dee, meantime, I'm wondering what you make of Dario Amodi. He's been so outspoken about AI's impact in the future on employment. And then, of course, yesterday taking it to unnamed rivals who he argues are YOLOing through this process.
That is a great thing to bring up, because in our last segment, after our next working segment, we're going to end up with going through some of the stuff that Jensen Huang said in his interview with Joe Rogan, or I'll say a conversation, because Joe Rogan doesn't do interviews, he does conversations.
Yeah, I mean, it's so, the space that Anthropic plays in the AI landscape is so interesting. They're the safety guys, right? They basically left, Dario and his sister left OpenAI so that they could develop AI responsibly. That was sort of the early era of this race, but now it's sort of growth at all costs. And so he hasn't in here to say or imply maybe that some are spending irresponsibly, or it's FOMO, where, you know, they have a proposition to increasingly enterprise AI and safe AI, and both of those go hand in hand, right? Enterprise wants to make sure that their AI is being developed responsibly. So it was very in tone what we hear from him. The thing that I thought was interesting, Carl, was how he talked about these scaling laws. It's been a debate for many months now, I think a year in the AI space. We were talking about this first last year at this time, about how maybe we have maxed out, we've hit a wall, and that the models aren't going to get like hugely smarter, just incrementally smarter. And what he said is that there's still a lot of room to go. Weighing in on that debate, it feels to be heading that way. So maybe in the next year, it shows us that we could get some major breakthroughs.
Is vibe coding, I'm just thinking, going through the vibe coding part of the story, is that like a euphemism for not having human software engineers anymore?
Yeah, it's kind of exactly what it sounds like. You code based on vibe. So you tell the chatbot, this is the app that I want to create. It has to feel this way. It has to do this. And the AI just goes and does it for you. Also known as AI first coding. And this is just a huge industry, right? You see it within all the major tech companies. Engineers relying on AI to actually code for them, but you still have to be fairly sophisticated. What Replit does is actually lets like consumers and non-technical teams vibe code themselves. So like if you're in sales or marketing, you could say, I need this application to interact with my customers. Can you create it for me? They can actually like create their own software.
So the question that that was posed to her was not a great question. Her answer at first, I was like, nah, but then she kind of ended up all right. So the question was bad, because vibe coding does not mean that there are not going to be any software engineers left, because we still need people to direct it, and it helps you go instrumentally faster if you know it's all based on the prompt that you put in. Now, in the last part of the explanation about, oh, well, it enabled like sales teams to do whatever, that like it can, but it's very, very minimal. Like what I learned building out some of my apps, like especially my content creation app, the more context that you have on a field or industry, the better that it's going to do. So let's do this real quick. So in my content creation assistant app, right, I have, go to your channel. Let's go to videos. So one of the things that I built into my app was, so it has a thumbnail creator, right? And it's been going through so many different iterations of creating the thumbnails. And I'm gonna give you a comparison, right? So let's take a look at this thumbnail right here, right? Which this is the CEO of Google, generated by AI. This is the founder, I think Andrew Ng of Google Brain. This is what's his name? So Google founder again. This is Tim Cook, Google CEO Tim Cook, right? But if we go down to this right here, And so these thumbnails right here, right? They were created using a particular model. And then this one over here is when I started using a different model, because I wrote a prompt saying, I'm using Runware to generate my thumbnails, and Runware has a bunch of, so basically Runware is an API, like they have APIs where you can connect to a bunch of different models, but I'm not very aware of what all those different models can do. So I told it, can you research the different Runware models that are going to be good for generating realistic images of certain people? So while this one is like kind of crazy, right? And let me see if I can find like, so this was terrible. This was supposed to be Stephen A, but pretty bad, right? But it was getting better. It was getting better in its generation. Like this one was terrible, right? But it's getting better in its generation. And I had AI research Runwares to see what's going to be the best models. So now in the app, it's all right. I want to create a subject, and I can choose a subject. I can choose the expression that they're doing, and I can also say, all right, use this model, which is going to give a very realistic image of this particular person, right? So that's why you'll have this image right here look really like, so this one, it'll look really like the, zoom in on it, maybe. Oh, that's not gonna work. It'll look really like the actual person, and not like you can see the difference. Like this is a good one, right? But you can see the difference between the quality of the generation, you know? So that was like, those are the iterations going through getting the thumbnail generated and stuff like that, right? So it's a process. It is a process that you just keep going through iterations. But if you think on your very first attempt of your prompt is going to be perfect, absolutely not. So, but that's how the learning game goes. That is how the learning game goes. All right. Let me see if we have anything. Nope. All right, cool. So we're gonna get to our very last segment of work, and then we will review the conversation between Joe Rogan and Jensen Huang. All right. So let me throw up our last 20 minutes of work on the clock.
It's time to do.
Okay. So let's go. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and start a new prompt, and I'm going to say that, so let me show you what happens, right? So if I move this over here and we add an additional source, and let me see if I can find a very long title. Let's try to take this one. Copy link address. All right, so if I try to take this one, I scroll down over here and I paste the video, right? And I do fetch title. It's not long enough. Hold on, see if I can find a long video. A long video title. Let's see. This should be a good one. This seems pretty long. Copy link address. So we'll take this one from Black Conservative Perspective. And so let's say we paste the URL in here and we say load. Oops, that's what I want to do. I want to do load. Maybe it has to be docked for it to happen. Let me see. Let's see. Let me go pull it in here. Let's say we go, let me do it again. And we go to here and we say fetch. I don't know, it's not happening. But I know I saw it happening before. Or maybe because it can't. No. I know I saw it happening. So I don't know. But we'll fix it anyways. The other issue that we have to fix is if you were to go to use the share link where it puts the, so the sizing was what Rod Brown pointed out to me. Let me disable this. The sizing is what Rod Brown pointed out to me. But if I was to go and paste, and Junior pointed this one out to me, if I paste the shared URL and I do load, it's not going to be able to do it because it can't parse out this URL right here. So we're going to ask it to fix that. I think that one is more important. So we're going to ask it to fix that one first, and then we'll do the size thing. All right. So let's go ahead and create a new request, and we're going to say we are on the. Let me see. We are on the. Let me see, Git branch. So we're on the cross-platform branch, right? So I'm going to say, when I try to use the YouTube share URL, it does not properly parse it, most likely because we didn't specify that format to take in YouTube URLs. Can we update the parsing to include the YouTube share URLs that look like this? All right, so let's put that. I'm guessing this right here is the video ID. So it should be pretty easy to fix this one, right? But let's send it off and let's see. And if that one works, then we will build it. And yeah, so I'm not really worried about it because these changes are happening inside of the, it's going to be super simple because all it's going to do is in the parsing, like we can see it over here, right? In the parsing, it's just going to add, see, it just added this right here to the parsing to be able to take that, right? And it's basically done already, it looks like. Yep. Identify the function responsible for. So basically read YouTube server, CPP, and YouTube doc CPP to find the URL parsing logic. Identify the functions responsible for parsing the YouTube URLs. Modify the functions that support u2.be. I wonder why they would do that though. Review the changes. So now we'll modify the regex in the extract video ID function to correctly parse the YouTube, parse that URL. I have updated the regex and that's it, right? I have updated the YouTube URL parsing logic in the OBS YouTube plugin, YouTube doc.cpp, and it should be as simple as that, right? So very, very easy and simple to get that updated. The other thing I want to say is sometimes when I fetch the title, if the title is too long, it will rearrange it will extend. I think the reason that it didn't happen is I might have let me see something. I might have the docs locked. No, I don't. I don't know why it didn't. I thought it would have. But regardless, let's go ahead and do it anyways. It will extend the width of the doc, which kind of throws out the... Excuse me, my goodness. Happy I muted in time. Ooh. Which will kind of throw the layout of OBS off. Can we have it not expand the width of the dock if the fetch title is too long? It should keep. However, we set our dock width to, maybe we have to add something fixed into the dock settings. I don't know what the best way to ask it, but I'm pretty sure it'll figure it out. Let's see what it says. All right. I will re-examine to find the best way to constrain the width of the title field. To prevent the dock from resizing, I will introduce QLabel for displaying the video title, which will be configured to truncate long text. This approach ensures that the dock's width remain fixed regardless of the title length. I will also add a tooltip to the QLabel so the full title can be viewed on hover. Okay, that's cool. That works for me. I have replaced the Q line with QLabel. I have replaced the Q line edit with QLabel. However, I also need to update youtube.h header file to reflect this. I have replaced the Q line edit with QLabel. I'm going to ask it a question, because does that mean that I will not be able to customize the title? Because some YouTube titles are terrible that I wouldn't really be able to know what it means. I have addressed the issue of the dock resizing with long titles by replacing the text input with a label that truncates the long title and displays the full title in a tooltip. I don't know if I really wanted that. Let me ask it a question. So I'm going to go to ask. By replacing Q line edit with QLabel, does that mean I am no longer able to customize the title that was fetched? It's useful to be able to customize the title, like putting video 1, video 2, video 3, while the fetched title would remain afterwards. Let's see what they think about that. And I'm doing ask because I want to see if it's possible. If I do code, it's just going to start changing stuff. So I like to use ask, but it's going to do it. It's going to do it anyways. Whatever. Let's see. I will now revert the changes to restore the Q line edit. You're absolutely right. I apologize for attempting to modify code while in ask mode. I need to switch back to code mode to make necessary changes. Now that I'm in code mode, I will revert the changes and restore Q line edit. Next, I will revert the changes and YouTube dock and add the necessary logic to set a fixed width for Q line edit and manage the tooltip. Okay, cool. I mean, that's basically what I wanted, but I wanted to make sure. Now that I've reverted the changes, I will apply the correct fix. I will add code to OBS plugin, YouTube dock.cpp to set a minimum width for the dock and enable word wrapping for the Q line. Is it word wrapping I want? This will allow titles to be edited while preventing the dock from expanding. I mean, that works. I think we can try it out. I have now implemented the correct fix. The dock has a minimum width set, and the Q line edit will now use a tooltip to display the full title if it's too long to fit in the input field. This allows both for customization of the title and a fixed width. I think that's good. Says I have updated the doc to maintain fixed width. Additionally, the URL parsing. Okay, so I think that's good. Let's say, can we build the plugin? I'm not gonna do the package yet because I don't really need the package yet. Let's go to that. And I will, do I want to run it through here? I could do this on my own. Do we have a build? We already have a build directory. So I'm going to run it on my own cd ... And I'm going to do rm-rf to remove the folder build. The build directory is gone. We are going to run this command. Make sure there's no errors that happen because this is normally where we would get issues. All right, it's built. And I am going to cd build, cd make. All right, so now I am going to look for this folder right here. And linking cxx. So this folder right here, cmake files. So we're going to go into the build, cmake files, and we want OBS video share, this one. And then we have this one. Is it this one? Linking to OBS share plugin content. Where is this? Where did it put this? Let me see if I can find this one. Let's see. Dot plugin. Where did it put it? Oh, I think it's this one right here. All right, there it goes right here, right? Yeah, it should be because that one didn't exist before, right? So now I'm going to take this right here and I am going to find my PWD. So this is my native OBS build, right? And if I do clear ls-la, or let's do this. Yeah, all right. So in here, it does not have, well, it does have it from November 28th, right? So this is the plugin that we built on November 28th. I am going to remove this folder, right? So before I even do that, let me go ahead and start this. Let me go ahead and start this, right? See if I can find out how I did that. Let's see if we go to, so this is like all the troubleshooting that I was doing on this. Let me see if I can find the open. Oh God. All right. So I think, all right, clear cd cd ls. Let's say we do open -n OBS app. Is that gonna work? All right. So OBS is already running. Let's say launch anyways. Don't allow. Don't allow. Let's see. Did it open? I don't know if it opened. I don't think it opened. I don't think it opened. Why not? cd OBS app ls content ls. don't have a way to get to the logs either, I don't think. I don't know if I can get to the logs. Let's go to, let me try something. CD plugins, ls. If we were to do, because this is the dev build. So let's say we do rm dash, or rm, let's say OBS, YouTube. So that one is gone. Let me try to pwd, and I'm gonna do open -n to here. And if I do launch anyways, all right, so did it open? Hold on. I don't know if it opened. I don't know. I'm trying to open the other version of, I don't know what's going on with this. I always like to record this computer's, let me see. I'm trying to get OBS open. However, privacy and security. In settings. I think I need to. So I think I need to add in these. I think I need to add in the custom OBS in here. If I can find it. It would be, go here. Let's go to, I can't find it that way. Let's go here and let's go to here. And then C-Line Projects, OBS Studio, Build Mac.
Lunch break, lunch break.
Or not. Hold on. Let's go to PWD. So C-Line, OBS Studio, Build Mac, right? Build Mac. Front ends. Front ends, debug, OBS, right? So OBS may not be able to record the content or screen until you quit, let's say later. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to be able to open it. I might not be able to open it. Let me see. Launch anyways. I see it try to open, but then it goes away. So I'm not able to show you. I'm not able to show you, but here's what I'll do. After we're done, I'm going to install it and I will share a screenshot on the community tab of it actually working. And then Sunday I can show it off because I can't close OBS right now to show you that it is actually working, but I suspect that it's working because it was a very minor change. And then, so what I'll do here is say, let's build the package and then we'll call that a quits. Can we build the PKG file so it can be distributed? There is another, one more thing I'm going to prompt, right? So, let's go to, let's say I already ran the command manually. We just need to build the PKG file. I don't remember that's how we ended up building the PKG file. I feel like that's kind of different, but we'll see. So just make. All right, so let's do make install. Let's see if that's gonna work. Cannot make the directory, permission deny. What? That's interesting. Maybe sudo? Since the project is already configured and built, I will now run install to create. Is that what we ran before? I don't know if that's what we ran before. Was that the command we ran before to do the make? All right, hold on. Let me see something real quick. View. I don't know if that's what we ran before. We did fix Mac while maintaining Windows. CMake. Oh, I guess it is. Install, build, prefix, build, install. So let me copy this one instead. That one seems more, because over here we did. All right, so let's do that one instead then. We need to do CMake, install. All right, let's try that one instead. Let's do this one. That says not a file. Not a file. C line OBS. Oh, mine. CD. Oh, okay, that's why. Let's do that. And wrote product build install. Cool. There we go. So we should have the build install. Boom. There goes our plugin. There goes our plugin. Cool. So there we have it. We have our, so I have to install, I cannot install it on like right now because I'm using OBS. So I'm going to install it right after to see if that the URL parsing is working and the width stuff is working. All right. And then I'll take a screenshot, upload it, and then we can discuss it. We can review it a little bit on Sunday before we start building the other app. All right. So that is everything. Now, let me see if there's anything in the chat before we get into our final topic. Is like quickly, we're going to review Jensen Huang's comment. Junior says that was a lot of work just to get this thing working. It was fun, but it was also a little bit frustrating. But it's also my fault because I should have said, all right, let's stop going down. I should have said, let's stop going in circles a long time ago. And let's rethink this because, and that's why like, number one, AI with coding, it makes a lot of mistakes. It's important to have human thought in the process of, because like, I am not a C++ person, right? But I am a software person. I've been testing software forever. I've been building software forever. I've been troubleshooting forever. So I'm able to see like, hey, you're going in the wrong direction. This is what I want, but you're not doing it the right way. So many and somebody says, oh, I forgot to do this. I forgot to do that. Like, okay, come on. So, and this is a perfect segue into what I want to talk about. All right. So let me find this transcript. Let me see. Maybe it's on the other browser. Let's get off the screen. So let's transition to our last book. So Jensen Huang on Joe Rogan Experience. For those who don't know, Jensen Huang is the CEO of NVIDIA. And looking at the poll, 14% said yes, they did watch the Joe Rogan Jensen Huang interview. 14% said no, but I plan to watch, and 71% said no, and I do not plan to. But guess what? As sad as that is, I am not surprised whatsoever. I am not surprised one bit, right? Because we are doom and gloom, right? So last night I was hanging out with Junior, Rod Brown, Magnetar, John Henley, the Zealous Lot on Rod Brown's channel. And Rod Brown was reviewing a video of a young lady who said that, AI, using AI for like your emotional support, large language model, and to replace like the Holy Spirit and all this religious talk, right? Because with all due respect, a lot of religious people, they are always the last to the party, and everything for them is the devil, right? I don't believe that tools are the devil. Tools are what they're called, tools. You can use it for good, you can use it for bad. You see here on this channel how we use AI in all the things that we do to produce, to build, to create, to innovate, all that type of stuff, to help us be more productive, to help us move faster, right? Now, there's people who use it for bad. Like we reviewed China hacking Claude code to hack government entities and stuff like that. So I never look at the same way we're talking about Remington and Bushmaster. We don't look at them for the tool itself is neither good or bad. It's the use of, if you look at nuclear, there's nuclear power plants, but there's also nuclear bombs, right? Can use it for good and depending on who's using it and the reason, it could be good or bad, you know? So I don't look at I don't look at inanimate objects in a sense of good or bad. It's the internet. It has so much good, but it also has so much bad. Now, what the people choose to use it for. So something about this poll, and I don't know who chose what, but the fact that 71% of people said they don't plan on watching the interview says a lot, because we can watch, right, interviews on the things that are interviews and reactions on the most ratchet of things, but the things that we fear the most, instead of being educated on it, we choose to not watch it. But we're gonna tune into, would you take $1 trillion, or would you take 10 minutes with Jesus? We're gonna be debating that topic. Hypotheticals that will never ever happen. We're debating those hypotheticals. We're gonna be talking about what this famous singer did versus what that famous singer did. Oh, these court cases and all that type of stuff. But then we're gonna be crying about, oh, they're taking all the jobs. There's no jobs that are available. All that type of stuff. And I'm like, well, if you would tune into what the billionaires are saying, the people who are leading the industry, if you tune into what they're saying and see because there's different perspectives, right? So Elon Musk might say, oh, there's not going to be any jobs left and stuff like that. But other people from Google, from Jensen Huang, they're saying you have to see where they are moving. They are the market movers. They are the ones who innovate. They're the ones who plan what jobs are going to be needed. So that's why for me, I'm like, you know what? I want to see what Jensen Huang is saying. I want to see what Sundar Pichai is saying. I want to see what Mark Zuckerberg is saying. I want to see what Elon Musk, whether you love him or you hate him, I want to see what he's saying, because guess what? He is a market mover. He says something and Tesla stock skyrockets or it drops dramatically. I want to see where they are moving. Why did Elon Musk get $1 trillion pay package if he hits those milestones? I want to. Those are you cannot complain if you're not going to be part of the game. If you're going to be on the outside looking in through the window, then you don't matter. Simple as that. Simple as that. You don't matter. And that's why they don't care about you, because you don't want to see where the market is moving. So let me see. Let me find this transcript. There it goes. So 2 parts that I wanted to review really quick, right? So we will start off with, let's go over here, right? So this is the transcript to, and I'll post a link to the actual Joe Rogan experience. When I clip this up, I'll post a link to the whole interview, because look, listen, whatever you feel about Joe Rogan, whatever you feel about Jensen Huang, whatever you feel about AI, it's better to have an educated opinion instead of just spewing stuff that you don't know anything about. Go learn about it and then formulate, okay, whether it's good or bad, or how you plan on using it, or how you plan on advocating to use it. But so many people, they just say stuff, right? So the first part I wanted to talk about, right? So Joe Rogan, which is like pretty good friends with Elon Musk, he was saying that, so Joe Rogan was saying, one of the things that Elon said that makes me happy is he believes that we're all going to get to the point where it's not necessary for people to work, which I'm not sure why that would make Joe Rogan happy, but he is kind of liberal in his ways, right? And not meaning that you're not going to not meaning that you're going to have no purpose in life, but you will have, in his words, universal high income, because such revenue is generated by AI that it will take away the need for people to do things that they don't really enjoy doing just for money, right? It says, and I think a lot of people have a problem with that, because their entire identity and how they think of themselves is how they fit into a community and what they do. So he goes into an example. He's like this is Mike, and he's an amazing mechanic. Go to Mike, and Mike takes care of things. But there's going to be coming a point in time where AI is going to be able to do all those things much better than people do, and people will just be able to receive money. So I already, with the premise that Joe Rogan is laying out, maybe from what he got from Elon Musk, or maybe how he understands what he got from Elon Musk, I disagree with that premise, because at the end of the day, a robot is still a robot, and a robot needs to be. Frankenstein is not real. Frankenstein is not even a robot, right? So you still need to direct it. You still need to control it, right? So maybe Mike goes from being the mechanic who's laying under the car, where the car might drop on him, or let's say walking under the lift, and who knows what can happen. So many mechanics have gotten hurt. So many people in construction have gotten hurt. But let's say Mike has all of the mechanic knowledge, and he can control the robots. He can work on more cars. He can have his senior mechanics have their own robot, or have multiple robots to work on more cars. I don't know, right? Who knows? But then what does Mike do? Mike really loves being the best mechanic around. What does the guy who codes, what does he do? I can tell you right now, AI is not going to create its own software, right? Because AI is not going to necessarily know what the people need. You can guide it, but you're still going to, AI, like I mentioned, AI agent engineers, our video that we had the other day, right? Is when AI can code infinitely faster with zero errors. This, I had to prompt the OBS plugin, Kilo Code, to tell it, hey, let's stop throwing things at the wall. Can we be smarter? Can we be smarter about how we're debugging and troubleshooting this, so that it doesn't work that way, right? It says, and let me see what will happen to all those people, and that is where it gets weird. It's like, because we've sort of wrapped our identity as human beings around what we do for a living. So I'm gonna skip past, like, meet someone at the party and like, what do you do? Yeah, right. And I'm going to jump over to what Jensen Huang said, right? Says, yeah, I think, let's see. Let me start with a more mundane, and I'll work backwards, work forward, right? So he goes into like his Jeffrey Hinton's prediction and the radiologist paradox. So this was a great example that I really wanted to share with you, right? So Jensen Huang. So one of the predictions from Jeffrey Hinton, who started the whole deep learning phenomenon, deep learning technology trend, and incredible researcher, professor at the University of Toronto, he discovered the idea of back propagation, which allows the neural network to learn. All right. Says, and for this audience, software historically was humans applying the first principles and are thinking to describe an algorithm that is then codified, just like a recipe that is codified in software. So basically he's saying an algorithm is a recipe, just like you have a food recipe that you have in a book or whatever, you memorize and you pass it down generations, you put in a cookbook, whatever, right? Says it looks like a recipe, how to cook something. Looks exactly the same, just in slightly different language. We call it Python or C or C++, like our OBS plugin, or whatever it is. In the case of deep learning, this invention of artificial intelligence, and I'll say this, when I was learning about machine learning, right? It was talking about the deep learning, the neural networks, all the stuff that he's about to get into. Says this invention of artificial intelligence, we put a structure of a whole bunch of neural networks and a whole bunch of math units, and we make this large structure. It's like a switchboard of little mathematical units, and we connect it together. And we give it the input that the software would eventually receive, and we just let it randomly guess what the output is. So we say, for example, the input could be a picture of a cat. And one of the outputs of the switchboard is where the cat signal is supposed to show up. I'm telling you, I did this experiment with the cat pictures and having it trying to identify which is the cat, which is not, and training the machine learning model back. And this was like 2 or 3 years ago, maybe. And all the other signals. The other one is a dog, and the other one is an elephant, and the other one is a tiger, and all the other signals are supposed to be 0. When I show it a cat, and the one that is a cat should be, I show it a cat through this big, huge network of switchboards and math units. And they're just doing multiply and adds, multiples and adds. And this switchboard is gigantic. The more information you're going to give it, the bigger the switchboard has to be, right? And what Jeff Hinton discovered, what was invented, was a way for you to guess that, put this cat signal in and put the cat image in. So basically put the signal, like all the numbers, the ones and zeros, that would be the cat image. And then you put the actual cat image in. And that cat image could be 1,000,000 numbers because it's a megapixel image, for example, and it's just a whole bunch of numbers. And somehow from those numbers, it had to light up the cat signal. And that's the bottom line, all right? So I'm going to jump down to where he gets into all right, so here, right? So let's go over here. And so he predicted about 5 years ago that in 5 years' time, the world would not need any radiologists because AI would have swept the whole field. So the prediction was there would not need to be any radiologists, right? This is the important part, because AI would do it all. Well, it turns out AI has swept the whole entire field. That is completely true. So AI is dominating radiologists. But are there any radiologist jobs that exist? Today, just about every radiologist is using AI in some way. So that means radiologists still exist, right? So they're not gone. They are not gone. And this is what I've been trying to tell you guys. All you fearmongers who listen to the people who are trying to get rich so that, like, well, they are rich, but they're trying to get everyone on their platforms, you know? But every radiologist is using AI in some way. What's ironic, though, is what's interesting is that the number of radiologists has actually grown. There's going to need to be more because they can go faster, and AI is making more work, but you can process it faster, right? And so the question is why? That's kind of interesting, right? It is. And so the prediction was, in fact, that 30 million radiologists would be wiped out. They would be gone. They would be in a bind.
I'm in a bind, Nate.
Right? But as it turns out, we needed more. We needed more. And the reason for that is because the purpose, what does this hat say right here? What does the hat say? Purpose. The purpose of a radiologist is to diagnose disease, not, I repeat, not to study a damn image. See, and that's where we missed the mark. What is the purpose of the role and not the task of the role? The image studying is simply a task and a service of diagnosing a disease. Boom, there you go. There you go. And that's what I wanted to highlight. Why did why did AI not wipe out 30 million radiologists, but instead require more? Because the radiologist's purpose did not change. They're just using a different tool, a tool to do the job, right? That's what I've been trying to tell you guys. What is your purpose? What is the purpose of what you do? AI cannot replace the purpose. It can replace the task, but not the purpose, right? So now it says, and now the fact that you could study the image more quickly and more precisely without ever making a mistake, because you trained it properly, and it never gets tired. You could study more images. You could study it in 3D form instead of 2D form because the AI doesn't care whether it's studying images in 3D or 2D. You could study it in 4D. Why not 5D? Maybe 10D at one point, right? And so now you could study images in a way that radiologists can't easily do. And you could study it a lot more of it faster, better, more dimensions. Come on. And so the number of tests that people are able to do increases. And because they're able to serve more patients, the hospital does better, more accurately, faster. They have more clients, more patients. As a result, they have better economy. They run it up. They run it up. Right? See? Let me see. When they have better economics, they hire more radiologists because their purpose is not to study images. Their purpose is to diagnose disease. All right? So so he talks about chauffeurs, and chauffeurs have different purposes, stuff like that, right? Says, somebody says, I think you have to go back to what is the purpose of a job. For example, if AI comes along, I actually don't believe I'm going to lose my job because my purpose isn't to. I have to look at all the documents. I have to study a lot of emails. I have to look at a bunch of diagrams. The question is, what is the job? And the purpose of somebody probably hasn't changed. A lawyer, for example, helps people. That probably hasn't changed. Studying legal documents, generating documents is a part of the job, not the actual job. So I don't even think, because lawyers have paralegals, right? The same way, I don't think that product owners, CEOs, CTOs, etc., are going to be not hiring software engineers because they can, quote unquote, vibe code on their own. No. They're going to hire software engineers who know how to be AI agent engineers. So the title of software engineer might change to AI agent engineer, whatever, right? The same way, a lawyer is not going to get rid of their paralegals, but they're going to say, you know what, paralegal, use Law AI or whatever AI tool that they have so you can research faster and do more with less and more accurately. See? So then Joe Rogan says, but you don't think there's many jobs that AI will replace? And Jensen Huang says, very importantly, if your automation, if your job is the task. So, and Joe Rogan says, so that's a lot of people. I don't know. And if it is a lot of people, the key thing to learn from Jensen Huang here is that you should not make your job the task. Your job should be the purpose. What is the purpose? All right. There was another part that I wanted to get to, but I'm going to save that for Sunday about the consciousness of AI. That was a very fascinating part of the conversation. So also the reason that I decided to read it, I'll show you real quick why I decided to read it. Because I used my AI attorney, right? And I said, basically, I wanted to review a portion of the Joe Rogan interview with Jensen Huang on my channel, but I don't know if I have the permission to. Do you know if Joe Rogan allows users to review the portions of his video? And basically it said,
do not come
And I said, you know what? I'm going to take your advice. I don't want to get my channel in trouble. So then I said, I had a bright idea. I said, okay, what about if I take the transcript and I pass it through 11 Labs so I can get it read? And it said, definitely do not do that. Right? So I said, all right, you know what? I'm just going to read it. It said, just read it yourself. I said, all right, cool. I'm just going to read it. I read it for myself, and that's where we are, because it said, you don't want these issues. You do not want those troubles. So that's why I decided to just read it myself and take the safe way out of it, because we're trying to be safe here. We're trying to be safe. I'm not trying to pirate Joe Rogan, right? It would have been nice if we could play the video. It was a great interaction. I highly recommend you to go and watch it for yourself. I will put a link in the description of this video for you to go out and see it, all right? But great, fascinating interview. I'm going to check out the consciousness part on Sunday stream, right? But that is it. That is it for today. Let me check the chat one last time to see if there's anything else that we need to address, and then we're gonna get out of here, right? Junior said that I don't plan to, but when you told me who he was, I said that I have to go and watch. That is awesome. That is awesome. And Junior, you're not the only one who voted that I don't plan to. There had to be some other people who voted that, but I highly suggest, now that you know who he is and what he was discussing, it is very imperative that we go and we check it out, right? And Junior says, as a fact, we love entertainment and senseless conversation more than content that will help us grow. And guess what? If you are working and you're listening to entertainment and senseless conversation, but you're still being productive, then by all means, right? But we do need to schedule productive content into our workflow, our timeline, because that is going to permeate our minds to help us take things to the next level, right? But that is it. Junior says, great show as usual. Thank you so much, Junior.
I appreciate you.
I really appreciate you. I appreciate Phil Knight. I appreciate everybody who tuned in to tonight. But I am going to get up and out of here. You guys have an amazing night. Tech Coach Ralph, we are out.
One more thing. Price of the brick going up.
Spartans! What is your profession?
Yeah. Finally hit that checkpoint. They said it couldn't be done, but they ain't on this road. Windows down. Bass all the way up. Just ride.
All this that open road, cruise control, milestone pass, now we aiming for the next goal. Let the bass ride, leave the hate behind, all that negativity, I just pay it no mind. It's that next phase, feeling yet the vision's clear. All the doubt they had is fading in the rearview mirror. Yeah. They don't know the hours that I had to put in, all the door they shut that I had to kick in, all the nights I missed, all the sleep I lost. They just see the shine, they don't know the cost. Remember nights I was praying for a breakthrough, staring at the ceiling, wondering what I'm gon' do. Man, the burnout's real, had to push right through it. Had a vision in my head, I just had to stick to it. All the talk was cheap, man, that noise was loud. Had to block them out, separate from the crowd. They was throwing dirt, trying to cloud the name, while I was in the lab, building out the frame. Every line of code, every hour on the stream was a brick I laid for the whole damn dream. This ain't happened overnight, this was slow cooked. Every L I took was a lesson in the textbook. Now I'm on the highway, cruise set at 80, feeling like the man, yeah, I'm feeling like maybe I was built for this, maybe it's my time. This milestone's a checkpoint, not the finish line. The bass from the 808 shaking no whip. Took a deep breath, man, I'm enjoying the trip. This is just a preview of the movie, not the end. Time to hit the gas and do it all again. Oh, this that open road, cruise control, milestone pass, now we aiming for the next goal. Let the bass ride, leave the hate behind, all that negativity, I just pay it no mind. It's that next phase, feeling yeah, the vision's clear. All the doubt they had is fading in the rearview mirror. So I'm rolling rolling solo, just me and my thoughts. Plotting on the next move, connecting the dots. This milestone is sweet, yeah, I'ma let it soak in. But the blueprint for the next one is already spoken to. New exist, man, the vision's panoramic. They were sleeping on a kid, now they in a panic. Trying to jump on board, trying to ride the wave. The same ones who got it, the same ones who gave. I just tip the hat, I don't hold a grudge. From where I'm sitting, man, I'm way too far above all the petty drama, all that he said, she said. I'm just focused on the profit, focused on the bread. Optimistic for the future, cause I built the past. Got the foundation solid, know this thing will last. It's that tech coach vision, it's that pioneer flow. Planted all the seeds, now I'm about to watch it grow to a whole new level, to a different height. I ain't even worried, man, the future's looking bright. It's that round midnight vibe, feeling so alive. Some folks just survive, man, I'm learning how to thrive. So I let the beat rock, fast and heavy bass, while my mind is slow, steady, winning the race. Got the plan laid out for the next 5 years. Cheers to the hustle, man, and cheers to the tear. Oh, this that open road, cruise control, milestone pass, now we aiming for the next goal. Let the bass ride, leave the hate mind, all that negativity, I just pay it no mind. It's the next phase, feeling, yeah, the vision's clear. All the doubt they had is fading in the rearview mirror.
And I won't let them break me, no matter what they send my way. This highway's open, and I'm focused, yeah, I'm on my way, I'm on my way. I'm on my way.
Yeah, just like that. The beat ride. That negativity can't even catch up, man. We on a different frequency. Phase 1, complete. Phase 2, loading.